The first round of the inaugural 12-team college football playoff, CFP, left fans yearning for better competition. Indiana, SMU, Clemson, and Tennessee were all heavy underdogs. And their performances highlighted a glaring issue. There simply aren't 12 teams in college football capable of truly competing for a national title. The result? 4 lackluster games that felt more like filler content, with announcers scrambling to justify the inclusion of these teams and hype up the victors who cruised to easy wins. The expansion from 4 to 12 teams was always a gamble, while some argued that a 6 or 8 team playoff would have been more suitable. Money, naturally, drove the decision. But even as analysts on ESPN and TNT gushed over the greatest thing to happen to college football, the reality felt more like another bowl game, minus the traditional excitement. Looking at the matchups, they seemed more suited for non-playoff bowl games. Indiana versus Notre Dame could have made for an interesting Sun Bowl, while Ohio State versus Tennessee felt more like a Citrus Bowl pairing. And the Texas versus Clemson game? That belonged in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Even Penn State SMU, the least compelling matchup, could have fit nicely in the defunct Astro Bluebonnet Bowl. Despite the overwhelming sense of mediocrity, the quarterfinals offer hope for better competition. With matchups in prestigious bowls like the Rose, Sugar, Fiesta, and Peach on New Year's Eve and Day, fans are optimistic for a more exciting experience. The lower-seeded teams in these games are already significant underdogs, and the betting lines reflect that. Penn State and Texas are favored by more than 10 points each. The seeding process has clearly missed the mark, and many believe changes are necessary to ensure the top 4 teams get first-round byes. Among the more anticipated matchups is Ohio State versus Oregon in the Rose Bowl. This will be a rematch of an earlier thriller, where Oregon narrowly edged Ohio State 32-31. It's sure to be an exciting game, especially with Oregon's top seed hanging in the balance. Meanwhile, Notre Dame, fresh off an easy win against Indiana, faces a much tougher test in the Sugar Bowl against SEC champion Georgia. If the Irish can't handle Georgia's dominant defense, the hype around their playoff performance will quickly fizzle out. Despite the slow start to the CFP, there's still plenty of room for memorable moments and high-stakes games that could define this year's playoff. Here's hoping that the quarterfinals live up to the hype, and maybe even provide some much-needed drama.